Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is America in Revelation 17. Actually, where I'm going with this is trying to show you in the scriptures specifically where the Russians are going to attack America and take us out according to scripture. And I'm also going to show you when Jesus returns in relation to that. Now, there's an old saying that says, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you exactly in the scriptures that America, and it's scary to say this, okay, because I don't really know, but from everything I know, it appears that the fall of America, I'm specifically saying the Russians attacking America, will probably, I said probably, based upon my best guesses, based upon everything I know, appears to be about 4 months before Jesus returns. And that is when the Russians take America out, and then the mark of the beast comes forth. I know it's come out before then, I understand that. But I mean, it's in full force, I'll show you that, right after America falls. And right after and on about where America falls, that's when we go to the marriage supper of the Lamb. That's not the rapture. Most Christians at that point will be dead anyway. Everybody gets tested. Those that are ready get to go in. That means you've already been tested, okay? So it's not a rapture. And about 4 months after that is when we return on white horses following Jesus, along with the two angels. They have the sharp sickles. They slash the grapes. Jesus burns the tares, sets the whole world on light or on fire. And that's that's on Feast of Trumpets, which is about 4 months after we go to the marriage supper of the Lamb. Now, essentially, that's where we're going to go. And that's Revelation 17, 18, and 19. So I can almost guarantee you I'm not going to be able to cover all of that today. And unless something comes up really, really important, it is my intention to cover that over the next several programs. And I think that these are really, really important programs. And I encourage you not only to watch all the way to the end, but also to make sure you watch all of them. If you want to know, according to Scripture, when the Russians are going to attack and take America out, and I believe that'll be about 4 months before Jesus returns. Actually, I think that's good news. Somebody sent me a link to a guy saying that America is going to be taken out before tribulation starts, and that could be. For many, many years, I've thought the same thing until I saw this in the Scriptures. Okay, so again, watch the whole thing. Extremely important. And I know that a lot of people don't like Bible prophecy. I know a lot of people say it makes their eyes cross and they get a headache trying to understand it. But fortunately, I've been studying it long enough to hopefully I can bring it down where the cows eat it. Hopefully I can bring it down where you can understand it. Let's start in Revelation 17. And I'm going to go slowly through it. I think you will understand this. Now, first of all, who am I? Why should you listen to me? Well, I've been studying prophecy for about 40 years. That's a pretty good start. In addition to that, I've hosted about 160 guest speakers, making about 330 DVDs. And there was time we had 40 meetings a month. So for the last 40 years, my world has been Bible prophecy. In addition to that, my wife and I have given over 5,000 personal prophecies each, all across America. Now, the real fireworks in my life started in 2017 when I memorized the book of Revelation. I didn't think anything special was going to happen. It was just a project. But it was more than a project. Something special did start happening. I got 30 revelations, 2 visions, and 1 audible voice. Now, one of the visions showed me that there is a secret door, the word first fruits, from Leviticus 23:10 that links to Revelation 14:4, and with that secret door, you can then put the scrambled up prophecies of Revelation into the correct chronological order. It was a major, major revelation. I don't think I got it because I'm something special. I don't even think I got it because I memorized the book of Revelation. I think I got it because you're something special, because God's plan for the last days is special, and He's going to, it's time to reveal how Revelation is laid out. If you want to know that, then you want to get my book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. And then I got one audible voice, which I will show you here in just a second. All right, so let's go to Revelation chapter 17. To start with, let me ask you a few questions. I think this is going to be the fast, easiest, best way to make my points. So my first question is, do you believe that we are in or near the end of time? Well, if you're watching this, you'd probably say yes. But hopefully you're going to send this over to people that maybe don't believe we're in the last days. So we're going to help them to understand that. Second question, do you believe that America is the greatest nation on earth, perhaps even the greatest nation in human history? I think most Americans would say yes. What is the definition of fornication? Well, it's not just having sex outside of marriage. In the eyes of God, it is going away from Jesus. It's someone that has accepted Christ but is not following Christ. That's fornication in his eyes. Now, what is wine? See, I do not believe that what Adam and Eve ate was an apple. I believe what they ate was a grape. Throughout the Bible, if you look up wine presses, it's all speaking of sin. So I believe that wine is talking about forbidden fruit or specifically sin. The woman in Bible prophecy is the church, be that good or be that for bad, whether the church is doing good or whether the church is sinning. But in prophecy, a woman is talked about as the church. Now, let's go on. The red dragon of Revelation is talking about Satan. The seven mountains has two meanings. The direct meaning is the Vatican sits upon seven mountains. That's true too. But specifically in most of the prophecy, seven mountains is talking about seven continents. Horn means ruler. Crown is dominion. In other words, you're going to do what I tell you to do. Ruler is that everybody has to follow their directions. Now, let's start with Revelation 17. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying to me, Come hither. I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Who's the great whore? It's a woman. It's specifically the Catholic Church, but not just the Catholic Church. It is also speaking specifically of the Catholic Church that controls America. So just like you can be a Christian, but you might also say be a police officer. Well, is it speaking to a police officer? Yes. But that police officer is a Christian. So it's speaking of America politically, but it's also speaking of America religious-wise too. So it says, sitteth upon many waters. We know that the waters represent people. And the way it words it is this. And it said to me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Now, let's go on. With whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication. In other words, America has caused the world, like a Pied Piper, to follow America away from Jesus Christ. We used to be the nation that took the Bible to the world. Now we've been the nation that take, through movies and music and printed matter, have caused the world to fall away from Jesus. So that's what it's saying. So the kings of the earth have committed fornication. The kings of the earth have fallen away from Jesus because of America. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. In other words, so it's not just the leaders of the world that have followed America. It's also the people. That's what it's saying. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman. This is specifically a church, specifically the Catholic Church. Catholic Church is the largest, I'd say Christian, but it is. It's the largest Christian church on the planet. I saw a woman, the Catholic Church, sit upon a scarlet-colored, what's scarlet? It's the beast, okay? It's Satan. Sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, meaning that the Catholic Church in specific, but the evil part of the church in general, around the world, is getting its power and its strength and its great authority from the 10 nations, specifically those 10 nations of Europe, but that would also include America. Who gives the crowns to the kings of Europe? The answer is the Pope. Who is it that literally takes that crown and puts it on their head? It's the Pope. So the Pope rules over them. the wealthiest person on the earth is not Elon Musk. It is the Pope. Has been, probably always will be. So he carried me away in the spirit to the wilderness. I saw a woman, Catholic Church, sat upon a scarlet-colored beast, in other words, the wealth of the world, full of names of blasphemy. Blasphemy is attacking God directly, and having 7 heads and 10 horns. Those 7 heads are 7 continents, because the beast doesn't want to rule over just Europe. The beast, the Antichrist, wants to rule over the whole world, as Revelation 13 says he will. So the 7 heads are 7 mountains or 7 continents, and 10 horns. We already know that the Club of Rome has divided the 7 continents into 10 global regions. I already know the numbers of them, but I'm not covering that today. Let's keep going. Purple and scarlet. Okay, so what is purple and scarlet? Well, if you go back into Exodus 25, it tells you what purple and scarlet is. Speaking of the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. Okay, so this is the children of Israel, or the children of God. And it says that purple and scarlet were part of what the priests were to wear. So purple and scarlet are the colors of the woman, and that woman can be Israel. It is Israel. And it's also the church, too. It's God's people. Why the woman? Because hopefully we all get to be a bride of Christ. So the woman marries the Lord Jesus. Okay, that's why we're called a woman. Purple and scarlet are the colors specifically of the church, of the woman, of Israel, of the church, and also the Catholic Church. Look here. As you see, a lot of times the Catholic Church leaders are wearing purple and scarlet. Now, with that in mind, let's go to the scriptures. Next question. What nation is called the Great? Donald Trump hung the words the Great upon America. And in scriptures, it's also called the Great. There's only 2 cities throughout human history that I have been able to locate that are called Babylon. One of them is in New York, Babylon, New York, and the other one is ancient Babylon, as in Nebuchadnezzar. Now, what are the difference in these 3 loaves of bread? What's the difference? And I'm not trying to beat up on these other 2 competitors, okay? This is just your normal bread. This one here claims to be whole wheat bread. I do not believe it can be really whole wheat bread, because whole wheat bread goes bad in 7 to 10 days. You can't put it into the store unless you put some kind of preservative in it. But what's the difference between these 3? Here's the answer. This one, this loaf of bread that I made, this one will last for 25 years. What? No, I'm not talking about in the loaf itself. This is what I'm talking about. When you order from Joseph's Kitchen, which is the company that I helped start, it doesn't come in a paper bag that breaks, that mice can eat, that moisture ruins. Instead, it comes in a 7-gallon pail that is nitrogen infused. Now, we cannot guarantee that it's going to last 25 years plus, but I've got several emails from people say, oh, yeah, it will. Okay, in other words, the difference between these and this one is this one arrives in a pail like this that you don't have to refrigerate it. You can stick it over in your garage. I don't recommend you put it up in a hot attic, but, some kind of reasonable climate-controlled area. And it's good for 25 years. You pull that out, you can still make yourself bread. Now, in order to do that, there's a couple of things you need. One is you need a machine package. In other words, these are the things that you need to make the bread. One is you need a grinder. This is where you take the berries, you put it inside, push a button, 30 seconds later you have flour. Next, you need a bread machine, unless you want to make it by hand, and I don't. Bread machine kneads it, lets it rise, it bakes it, all at the push of a button. Then, when you pull it out, it also includes a slicer and a knife even. Even the beakers, everything you need to make the wheat. And as a result of that, you get one of these. You get a nice loaf of bread, and this is one that I actually baked. Next thing you have to decide is how much food you want. And I hope you're not clicking away. This is important. Look, when you're starving, you're going to wish you to watch this. Most of the emergency long-term storage people out there, most of them cost anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000 for 1 year for one person. Let me say it again. $9,000 to $10,000 for one person 1 year. Let me say it again. $9,000 to $10,000 per person per year. At Joseph Kitchen, they can show you how to do it for in the ballpark of around $1,000 a person. We're not talking half price. We're talking 90% under the prices of all the other competitors. And this is what Joseph and the Pharaoh lived off of for 7 years. The whole world lived off of wheat for 7 years. So what you have to decide then, do you want to get food for one person 1 year, 2 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 6 people 1 year? And when they send it to you, they send you everything you need. They send you the honey, the wheat, the lecithin, everything you need to make that much food for a year. You may be saying, yeah, but what happens if electricity goes off? Well, they got a solution for that. It's called a solar generator, and you can get one of those too. So here's the best deal of the day. The best deal is to get the 6 for 1. 6 people 1 year, $3,400. That's about $600 per person a year. Not $9,000 or $10,000, about $600 person per year for the actual food. Now, that doesn't include the mechanicals, but that's the actual food. If you do go to josephkitchen.com, if you'll use the promo code Prophecy Club, it'll get you a $50 discount. Prophecy Club, $50 discount. Now let's go to the scriptures. And the woman was arrayed, in other words, the woman is talking about here, the Catholic Church in specific, the church at large in general. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, meaning very wealthy. Would that be America? Yes. Would that be any other nation on the planet? That is a Christian nation. What? Because this is a woman, so it has to be a Christian nation. What is the wealthy Christian nation? I would even say, what is the only wealthy Christian nation? You got to say America. With gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. See, the Catholic Church, I'm not trying to beat up on the Catholic Church. Matter of fact, there's not a perfect church out there. Even our church is not perfect. So I'm not trying to say that, oh, Catholic Church is just so bad, because our church makes mistakes too. We all make mistakes. So I'm not just beating up on the Catholics. But unfortunately, they are the largest, and unfortunately, they have made probably more than their share of mistakes. So this golden cup, full of her abominations and filthiness of her fornication, says that the church has done all sorts of evil things. Now, what I'm trying to prove to you is that Revelation 17, 18, and the first part of 19 are all talking about America. Yes, this part is referring to the Catholic Church, but it's referring to the Catholic Church in specific, but in general, it's referring to the Catholics in America. Got it? Now let's move on. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. Well, where did we get that? Right here. Babylon the Great. I don't think that that's Mystery Babylon the Great. I think it's Mystery Babylon, second line, the Great, third line, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. I saw the woman, I saw the church, drunken with the blood of saints and the blood of martyrs of Jesus. And I know you're going to say, yeah, well, that's true. You know, the Catholic Church has certainly killed a lot of Christians. But Revelation is not talking about the past. These verses are talking about the future, meaning the Catholic Church in specific, but including the rest of the church. You're going to see a lot of the church. When the mark of the beast comes out, the apostate church will fall away. Many of them will take the mark, and those that take the mark will be, according to David Phillips in a vision he saw many years ago, he saw that the Pope, a young man, dark hair, beard, dark beard, stood up and required and commanded all of the people that had already taken the mark to then turn and kill the apostates, kill the people that had not taken the mark of the beast. We've got to do this to have peace on earth. Remember, Daniel says, by peace, he shall destroy many. Well, that's how they do it. Drunken with the blood of the saints, with the blood of martyrs of Jesus. So if you live in America, you better understand that those tares all around you will take the mark. You better understand the people that are the grapes that don't go to church. had never been Christian, don't want to be Christian, they're the grapes. You better understand that they are going to come after you if you haven't taken the mark of the beast. Now let's go on. When I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So what I'm trying to say is Revelation 17, 18, 19 is speaking of America. Let's go on. Now let's jump to chapter 18. First question. What nation is known as the Christian nation? Of all of the nations, I think there's like some 198 nations on the earth right now. What nation would most of the rest of the nations, if you were to walk up to somebody, what's the Christian nation? What would they say? Most people on the earth would probably answer, that would be America, right? Okay. Now, second question. In terms of the Bible, what does the word fallen mean? Does it mean they fell down and scratched their knee? No. Second question. What does stand mean? Stand is the opposite of fallen. Stand means that you continue to follow the narrow path. We continue to follow the teachings of Jesus. Fallen means that we aren't following those teachings anymore, and that we've gone the way of the other nations. We've gone the way of Baalim. We've gone the way of evil and sin and degradation. Now, with that definition, let's look at the next scriptures. What nation was formed as a Christian nation, quote, in God we trust, on their money, who now has churches closing, police officers resigning, and low recruiting for the military? Revelation 18, after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great, there is the word, the Great, is fallen. Now, in that it has two fallens, I'm going to show you that there's two falls to America. The first one is when the Russians take us out, and that's because of sin in the church. The second is fallen is when Jesus returns 4 months later on the Feast of Trumpets, and that's when he uses his wrath and the remembrance to give unto her the cup of the fierceness of his wine of his wrath. I'm going to show you there's two times when America falls. The first one is destruction of the church. The second one is total destruction of the nation. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, meaning she's sinned, and has become the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. We are the nation that even our Department of Justice no longer hands out justice. We are a nation that is trying to defund our police. We can't make up our mind if we're male or female. We have some of the most filthiest things going on in our education system, our government system, our business, our churches. I mean, in my opinion, we are very, very, within a year or two or three, ask yourself this. In 10 years, when the great generation is all gone, when the next generation has all died off, and then the generation after that is mostly an old folks' home, in another 10 years, where will America be? Because most of the people right now under 30 do not go to church in America. Those under 20, you couldn't drag them into a church. And if you catch someone under 20 years old, they've never read the Bible. They have no interest in Christianity. You can't get their nose off of a cell phone. So in 10 years, ask yourself where America is going to be. Ask yourself more specifically, in 7 years, where's America going to be? This may very well be describing America in the next few years. My opinion doesn't count. I don't think we're totally there yet, but I think within just a year or two, we could be. Next question. What nation makes the music and movies of the world? What nation does the rest of the world follow? Where do the greatest merchants of the world live? The answer to every one of those is America, America, America. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of our fornication. In other words, all of the nations have fallen away like the Pied Piper. As America fell away, they followed America, falling away from Jesus. And the kings of the earth who commit fornication with her. So they've gone along with this. and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Who is it that makes the world wealthy? It's America. Who is it that brings all of their merchandise to America to sell? It would be people of the world bring it to America to buy. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, this is specifically to us, come out of her, my people. That doesn't mean move and leave, although that might not be a bad idea, especially not now, but here any year now, maybe even any day now. Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Meaning, come out and be ye separate. Don't sin. Don't do as the heathen do. Don't do as those nations around about Israel did. Don't do that. That means we don't look like the world. We don't talk like the world. We don't cuss like the world. We don't dress like the world. We don't act like the world. Means we should look different, sound different. The Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What's in the heart is what comes out of the mouth. Now, if I can, I will try to continue this in the next program. Okay, so Terry Saka, why should people call Cornerstone assetmetals.com today?
Well, we've had large developments. We all do know about the war with Ukraine and Russia, but what's happening in Europe, beyond the fact that they have food rationing, energy rationing, and the Rhine River, which is the heartland of the industrial world of Europe, is now drying up to the point where the barges can no longer go through. And now the announcement just yesterday that Russia was going to eliminate all Nord Stream energy flows to Europe is huge. So what that's doing is it's making the euro currency crash way below parity, making the dollar really strong, which is giving you a tremendous buying opportunity because gold and silver is very cheap. But don't be fooled. It won't last long.
Cornerstone assetmetals.com. Call them, start some dialogue, open an account, and get yourself prepared for what is coming. Next is, I'll send you to EMPShield.com. If you use the promo word prophecy, you get a $50 discount. What is that? Well, it looks like this. This is the one that goes into a car, okay? And you put the red wire to the red side of the battery, you put the black wire to the black side of the battery, and the green one attaches to the body of the car. Then you peel it off right back here. Just peel that off, stick it inside of the engine compartment of your car, and the whole point is when the electricity goes off or when some kind of a suitcase or nuclear device goes off, this is supposed to be able to stop that device from destroying every computer chip in your car. Because if every computer chip is destroyed in your car these days, you couldn't possibly replace them all. Throw the car away. So, EMPShield.com, promo code prophecy.